So today we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 7, entitled as Further Inquiries by Vidura. And we are reading today text number 23 till text number 25. Kindly repeat after me. Yasmin dashavidha pranaha sendriyartendriyastrivrita Tvairito yato varnas tad vibhutirvadasvana Yasmin dashavidha prana sendriyartendriyastrivrita Tvairito yato varnas tad vibhutirvadasvana Yasmin dashavidha prana sendriyartendriyastrivrita Tvairito yato varnas tad vibhutirvadasvana Sendriyartendriyastrivrit Tvairito yato varnas tad vibhutirvadasvana. Matajis. Sendriyartendriyastrivrit tad vibhutirvadasvana. Yasmin, in which dashavidaha, 10 kinds of, pranaha, air of life, sa, with, indriya, senses, artha, interest, indriyaha, of the senses, trivrita, 3 kinds of life vigor, tvaya, by you, iritaha, explained, yataha, wherefrom, varnaha, 4 specific divisions, trivibhutihi, tatvibhutihi, prowess, vadasva, please describe, naha, unto me. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O great Brahmana, you have told me that the gigantic Virat form and his senses, sense objects and 10 kinds of life air exist with 3 kinds of life vigor. Now, if you will, kindly explain to me the different powers of the specific divisions. So as this shloka has no purport, so we'll read till text. Prajapatin sarganschaivanu sarganscha manun manvantaradipan. Translation. O ordinary Brahmana, please describe how the leader of all the demigods, namely Prajapati, Brahma, decided to establish the various Manus, the heads of the ages. Please describe the Manus also, and please describe the descendants of those Manus. Translation and purport. The human race or Manushya Sara descends from the Manus, sons and grandsons of the Prajapati Brahma. The descendants of Manu resides in all the different planets and rule all the universe. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam Asaduna Sadutadain Ati Nichochatakara Hanamum Cha Kadachin Premna Mathakanthavyaspura. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from this a very beautiful chapter of Canto 3, where Vidura is establishing a very important principle of spiritual life, that is inquiring from the spiritual master. And here we are seeing the title of the chapter itself is a further inquiries by Vidura. So in the beginning of this chapter, Vidura asked a very important and interesting question, where he says that Bhagavan eka evesha sarvakshetre avastitah amushya durbhagatvam va klesho va karma bhi kutah. So the question Vidura asked that actually Lord is situated as a Paramatma. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is residing with each and every living entity. Paramatma, or the Supreme Person, is a cause of all fortune, cause of all pleasure. That is the definition of God. Means when you come in contact with the God, you experience happiness, you experience pleasure. So Vidura's question is, Bhagavan eka sarvesha sarve kshetra avastitah. Kshetra kshetrajna. Lord Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that I resides in everyone's heart. I am their companion. So Vidura is asking, if Lord is situated in the heart, then why does living entity suffer? Why do jivas suffer in this world and experience misfortune? That is his question. In the 11th canto, Pingala also says the same thing, that Santam Samipe Ramanam Ratipadam Vitta Pradam Nittamimam Vihaya Akamadam Dukkha Bhayadi Shokam. So, the Lord is residing in my heart, who is the closest to the living entity and who can offer unlimited fortune, Vitta Pradam. But I have turned away from this Supreme Person and pursued sense gratification, fleeting sense pleasure in this world. So, Vidura is asking the same interesting question, that if God is there, then why living entity suffers? And what is happening? Seeing this suffering of a living entity, Vidura is disturbed. Etasmin me manovidvan khidyate jnana sankate tannah paranauda vibho kashmalam manasam mahat. My mind is greatly distressed of this nescience, this ignorance, which is caused by illusion. So, he is putting himself in the condition of a living entity, saying that I am so much distressed with this condition, suffering so much. Why is it so? Actually, Vidura himself is absorbed in Krishna. So he is not experiencing any miseries in his life. But he is presenting his condition for the benefit of the living entities who are suffering, who has turned away from Krishna. For them, he is asking this question. And who are all those living entities? We all are conditioned living entities who are suffering in this material world. And Maitreya Rishi replies that it is speculation and misconception about the identity of the self and identity of the Supreme Self is the cause of the living entity's suffering condition. So mental speculation and misconception, these are the two important factors because of which living entity suffers in this world. He speculates about his own identity. Sometimes he thinks he is God. And misconception about the Supreme Person, or the speculation about Supreme Person. That is the reason a living entity suffers. And Maitreya Rishi also gives the remedy for this. Asesha sanklesha samam vidatte gunanuvada shravanam murare kimva punastacharanaravindha paraga sevaratiratma labdha. So how will such living entity get released from this material world or the suffering? And not only just a pinch of a suffering. He says unlimited suffering. We all go through unlimited sufferings in our life. So how one can get rid of this is, he says, asesha sanklesha shamam vidatte. So klesh means suffering. And sanklesh means is surrounded by suffering. And how much? Ashesha. Shesh means little bit. Ashesha means unlimited. So living entity is surrounded by unlimited sufferings. Can get released from this suffering by gunanuvadha shravanam murare. By glorifying the name, pastimes, forms of the Lord, and serving the devotees of the Lord. Paraga seva rati atma labdha. And this way, one can get released from these conditions of material tribulations. So, to give this medicine, gunanuvadha shravanam murare, the whole material universe has been created. And all this arrangement of various elements in this creation, the various personalities coming to take charge of this material universe, is only for this purpose, that the conditioned living entity goes back home, back to Godhead. So the description here, what we are reading in the today's shlokas, that how this vast creation is functioning on various levels. It is not just this material world, what is visible to us, or this earthly planet, what is visible to us, but even which is not visible for human beings, how it is functioning. And specifically in the 25th shloka, he is asking about the Manus and descendants of the Manus from Prajapati Brahma. So as you all know that in one day of Lord Brahma, there are 14 Manus. 12 hours of Lord Brahma is equal to 1000 Yuga cycle. And each Manu rules 71 Yuga cycle of Lord Brahma's day. And this is how they come to the 14 Manus. It begins with Swayambhu Manu. And then various Manus comes and they rule this material universe, or the day of Lord Brahma. So in one day, 14 Manus. So in month, multiply into 30, and in year, multiply into 365. Those many Manus comes in Lord Brahma's day. And in 200, that is the lifetime of Lord Brahma. So thousands and thousands of Manus, they come in the lifespan of Lord Brahma. Just to make sure that living entity chants the holy name of the Lord, take part into the devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. And this is the purpose of ISKCON society. That living entities who are suffering in the material world can take shelter of this society. The process of devotional service, and go back home, back to Godhead. So today is an important day for all of us who are practicing devotional service in this society, in this organization, ISKCON society. Today is the incorporation day of ISKCON. So legally, ISKCON was registered as an organization. So today is the day to fill our heart with gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, who took so much of effort, so much of trouble to establish this society. Here, the same mood what Vidura is expressing, with that same mood, Prabhupada established this society of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So many hardships he had to go through to come to this point where he can establish this society. He had received instruction from his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And to materialize that instruction, it took almost 44 years. So today I would like to focus on the 7 purposes what Srila Prabhupada has given for ISKCON society, and how these purposes were fulfilled by various activities, so that everyone can get chance to practice devotional service. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is written that Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is, preach this knowledge of bhakti to each and everyone, whomever you see, whomever you come in touch with. So that same message Srila Prabhupada took and distributed this throughout the world. So his 7 purposes are also important to all of us, so that we can also redirect our consciousness to fulfill these purposes in our life as a member of ISKCON society. So the first purpose, Prabhupada writes, it's very interesting how they formed this society. So Prabhupada landed in USA in 1965. 1 year of hard struggle, unlimited difficulties, going through robbery, going through attacks, Prabhupada finally gathers some people who are interested in his philosophy. Most of them were agnostic, atheistic, averse to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And few of them, very limited one, were interested in what Prabhupada was saying. So, in this condition, one day, Prabhupada says to the devotees that we can register our society and the name of the society would be International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So all the devotees, they said, the name looks sectarian, Krishna consciousness. Let's be liberal. We can have an international society for God consciousness. And everyone was amused because there were only a handful of people, 10 or 15 people. And Prabhupada is naming the society as International Society. With 10 people, you are calling it as a International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So that is also very amusing to the people sitting in the room. They were thinking, international? What is international in this? With 10 people around. But Prabhupada had a big vision which they were unaware of. So then, to get it registered, you need a lawyer. Devotee did not have money, did not have any contacts. The people who are sitting in the room were all hippies, drops out, and doing all sorts of activities. So how to get it legalized or how to get it registered? So there was one person in the group, he had one friend who was a lawyer. And that person was also having some interest in spirituality. And his conception of spirituality was different, but he wanted to help these people. So Mr. Goldman was the lawyer. And everyone went to the three people, the earlier disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Keith, Harvard, and Valley. These three people went to Mr. Goldman and requested him, can you get our society registered? So he immediately became ready to get it registered, to help these guys. But what it needed, that to get it registered, you need a trustee. So first, all the devotees, they thought, Swamiji wanted to get it registered because he want his donation, those who are giving donations, he want to get relief in taxes. So therefore, he is getting it registered. But they thought, who is here to donate him anything? Because everyone was living in Bauri. What they can donate? So they did not have a clue why is getting it registered. There are no donors or a single donor who will get tax benefit. Or they are not able to see what is the use of getting it registered. And that also international society. But still, these trustees were not aware what is going to happen. So Prabhupada asked Mr. Goldman, can you announce what are the requirements needed? Or whatever the requirements for the getting it registered. So he said to all the devotees, all the people gathered around, so we need trustees to form this society. And everyone was ready. Whoever was there, they were not knowing what they are interested with. So 12 people registered to be trustee. So the rule was, for every year, it will be in rotation. So 3 trustees in first year, in the next year another 3, next year another 3, like this. So now, the trustees were there, a lawyer was there, and then it got it registered. And to get it registered, you need a vision or the purposes for this society. So Prabhupada asked one of his earlier disciple. Till now he is not disciple. He is just attending and having some interest. So Prabhupada told him, write something about whatever you have understood in my classes or in my interactions. So this person was an English professor. He writes something and give it to the Prabhupada. So Prabhupada becomes very happy seeing the draft written by this fellow, Harvard Wheeler. So Prabhupada becomes happy that, oh, you have written nicely. And then he adds to those, whatever is written, few points. And those points and those things become the purposes of ISKCON. So the draft was written by someone, and Prabhupada added things in that purposes. So the first purpose of ISKCON is written is to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all the people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check 3 things. The first is imbalance of values in life. Second, to achieve real unity. And the third is to achieve peace in the world. So it's very interesting here. Preaching and educating to the society at large. Janasya mohat vimukasya deva adharmasilasya sudukhitasya anugrahaya charanti nunam bhutani divyani janardanasya. Janasya mohat vimukasya devat adharmasilasya sudukhitasya. So the living entities are suffering adharmashilasya. Why? Because they have given up the dharma and following adharma. Adharmashilasya. Anushilam means following in the footstep of some great personality. Adharmashila means following adharma in the life. And the result of adharma is sudukhitasya. So what is this adharma? Adharma is nothing but the having materialistic tendency or materialistic lifestyle is adharma. Janasya mohat vimukas. And what that materialistic life does? That materialistic life takes you away from Krishna. Anugrahaya charanti nunam. And to bless, to show mercy to the such fallen conditioned soul. The devotees of the Lord, they distribute the knowledge of the Lord by taking up so much of trouble, going door to door and distributing this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada imbibed this consciousness. He went from the most cherished destination of the spiritualist is Vrindavan, which is full of devotion. And what he does? He gives up that most cherished destination to go to the most materialistic city on the planet, that is New York. Anugrahaya charanti nunam. Those who are the most materialistic, those who are engaged in the most abominable activities, to that place Prabhupada travels. To propagate, to teach, and imbalance in values. Yesterday, Governor of Maharashtra came to our temple. And in his speech, he mentioned a very important point. And what was that point? And it struck me a lot. That he says, to uplift the society and to keep them on a track, the contribution of spirituality is 95%. And 5% is our police forces. To control 140 crore population is not possible by a handful of police. What is the slogan of Maharashtra police? Sadarakshanaya khala nigrahanaya. To protect the innocent and eradicate evil. Sadarakshanaya. But how much they can protect? To protect society, spiritual contribution is 95%. Because unless the inner transformation takes place, evil tendency cannot go away. It won't go away. And to bring internal transformation, the spiritual education is required. To maintain the values, you require spiritual education and techniques. And that is what he mentioned yesterday. A head of the state is saying this. The necessity, and that what Prabhupada had envisioned. ISKCON is helping to keep people, maintain people to maintain their values. To bring back balance in the society by maintaining those values. Achieve real unity and achieve real peace. So, Prabhupada was standing just outside the United Nations office and seeing so many flags coming every year. Prabhupada is saying, what kind of unity is this? So Prabhupada brought a real unity in diversity, giving the common denominator to each and everyone. And third is to experience peace. Anyone who practices the spiritual process given by acharyas, he experiences individual peace, and society also experiences peace at larger level. So this is the first purpose of ISKCON society. The second one, to propagate a consciousness of Krishna, God, as revealed in the great scriptures of India, like Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So, as people were saying, it should be God consciousness. Prabhupada was clear. It should be Krishna consciousness. Why? Because people have, even about spirituality, people have hazy and bewildering concept about God. Either they are not clear about God, who God is, and if they know some spirituality, they are bewildered that who is what. If you ask anyone, they cannot clearly answer what God is all about. Someone will say God is light, somebody will say God is some concept. But Prabhupada gave a clear-cut understanding for the follower of Vedic society, Krishna conscious society, that to imbue with the consciousness of Krishna. Let's be clear with this understanding. Aham sarvasya prabho mattam sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. And Prabhupada also coined this name, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, from Rup Goswami's verse, Krishna Rasa Bhavita Mati. So, Krishna Ras, one who is attracted to the mellows of Krishna, or one whose consciousness is imbued with the Krishna Ras. Mati, intelligence or consciousness. So, most of the time, people are self-conscious. My enjoyment is the highest. My understanding is the highest. And whatever I need is the topmost priority. So when you are self-conscious, you are not bothered about anything else outside. Everything revolves around me and mine. So what Prabhupada is doing? Prabhupada, with the second purpose of ISKCON, is stating that one has to transform, or one has to journey from self-consciousness to Krishna consciousness. Krishna being the center of life. And everything revolves around Krishna. So in the beginning, all these people were very new. They were not knowing what to do, what not to do. So one day, Haigreve Prabhu, Prabhupada had given him some service to type. And he had a typewriter. So he hit the typewriter with his leg and moved it with his leg. Prabhupada saw it and told him that typewriter is in Krishna's service. And we should be very conscious that anything what is in Krishna's service is offering you Krishna's potency. So, immediately these devotees, even while seeing the typewriter as not just a mundane object, but is thing connected to Krishna. So we should not disrespect one thing, and another thing is it has a connection with Krishna. So even by seeing typewriter, he made them Krishna conscious. So this is what the second purpose of ISKCON is for. To become Krishna conscious. Coming out from self-consciousness to the Krishna consciousness. The third thing, what he says about ISKCON, or the purpose is to bring the members of society together with each other and nearer to Krishna. How it can be achieved? By understanding that we are part and parcel of Krishna. So this is also very interesting understanding or the purpose of ISKCON. Most of the spirituality is to perform solitary bhajan. They teach you that you go somewhere, become disconnected from the society and achieve perfection in solitude. But what Prabhupada is saying, spirituality can be performed in community, in society. And you can achieve perfection. So the society, to bring the members of the society together, that is the process. That coming together and achieving the final destination. Parasparanukathanam pavanam bhagavat yashah mithoratir mithotushtir nivritta mitha atmana. So the process of Krishna consciousness is not just to perform in solitude, but to coming together. Parasparanukathanam. By discussing, by exchanging the glories, pastimes of the Supreme Person. One gets attracted and attached to the Supreme Person, to each other, and get relief, nivrittir, mitha atmana, from the various sufferings one experiences in this material world. Same thing, Lord Krishna also speaks in Bhagavad Gita. Machitta, madgata prana, bodhayanta parasparam, kathayantascha mam nityam, tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They experience satisfaction, they experience encouragement, enjoyment while discussing my pastime. And this is the purpose of this society, that coming together, celebrating festivals, celebrating Janmashtami, celebrating various things in community. We come together, we grow together, and we reach together. So this is very revolutionary, that Prabhupada established this purpose, that community, the way to spirituality. Then the fourth purpose is written is to teach and encourage congregational chanting or the Sankirtan movement of the holy name as revealed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kalirdosho nidhe rajan asti ek mahan guna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param braje. Kirtanadeva krishnasya. There are unlimited faults in this age of Kali Yuga. But the greatest boon which is available to each and everyone is Sankirtanam. And that was propagated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Prataparudra Maharaj saw the Sankirtan movement or the Sankirtan done by the devotees, he was astonished seeing that Sankirtan. He had seen so many being the king. But this specific Sankirtan done by the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched his heart, and he explained, this is Adbhut, this is beyond the world. That Sankirtan movement is spread throughout the universe, throughout the world. When Nityananda Prabhu, when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in ecstasy, he predicted that this Sankirtan movement will go to the town and villages remote corner of the world. And the Lord's holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, will be chanted. देखी नित्यानंद प्रभु कहे भक्त गणे, यही रूपे नृत्य आगे हबे ग्रामे ग्रामे. So that Sankirtan movement is propagated by following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we can see the results. In remote corner of Africa, people are taking the holy name of the Lord, dancing and chanting. And now we have very interesting philosophy. There was one philosopher, he said that if you show me dancing God, then I will believe the religion is authentic. We have a eating God and dancing God, both. We have a Jagannath as a eating God. Chappan Bhog, after Chappan Bhog, he eats. And we have a Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, dancing God. He's dancing and experiencing and distributing the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. And we all like two things, eating and dancing. Dance in the kirtan and eat prasadam. After you get tired in kirtan, there is prasadam. So that Sankirtan movement is being propagated. That is the purpose of ISKCON society. The fifth one, we'll finish shortly. To erect for the members and for society a holy place of transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna, means temples. So to educate people, you need a place. And this is not just a worship done by some articles like lamp, incense stick. Yes, ISKCON temples are doing those things also. But more than that, Prabhupada called ISKCON temples as spiritual universities. Here, Lord is also worshipped by intelligence. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, one can worship me, offer me worship by reading it and by understanding intellectually. So Prabhupada established so many temples to educate into the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, educate people into Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ishopanishad. That is the fifth purpose. The sixth purpose is written to bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of living. So this is simple life, simple living, high thinking. He established so many farm communities to live a natural life. The urban societies, they offer materialistic life. And the people, when they live materialistic life, they forget God very easily. But when you get connected to the natural way of life, you become more and more dependent on God. And that is how, by establishing farm communities, we also have, yesterday, again, the point was mentioned by governor was Govardhan Eco Village, which offers this purpose of ISKCON society. And where you can get connected to the nature, and through getting connected to the nature, you get connected to the Lord of the nature, Supreme Person. And the seventh purpose, Prabhupada wrote, with a view of achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and other writings. So this is the seventh, this one is the seventh purpose. To write, publish and distribute the literatures of Krishna consciousness. And these books have brought such a big transformation in the society. No one had heard before that Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatams are distributed on the streets. We are in the tradition where books are written. In Madhva Gaudiya Guru Shishya Parampara, most of the acharyas have written books in contemporary language, explaining the Vedic truths and bringing living entity closer to the understanding of Vedic philosophy. Prabhupada wrote books, his spiritual master wrote books. His spiritual master, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he wrote so many books. And his disciples, Prabhupada's disciples, are also writing books. So books, they teach, educate, and makes philosophy lively. Understanding. So Prabhupada took so much of effort to write these books. He did not have money in the beginning. So when this first student, one time he found out it was not a mistake, it was actually Prabhupada's British English language. So Prabhupada had written in Bhagavatam, "O the King." So it was sounding little difficult for American person that, "Oh, the King." So he went to Prabhupada and told Prabhupada, we need to fix this grammatical thing over here. Because it is kind of British language. First he thought, "O" means there is the name of a king. O. And therefore Prabhupada is calling "O the King." But later on he understood that actually Prabhupada meant "O King." So Prabhupada said, "Yeah, you can fix all those grammatical things." So he typed and typed since morning till evening. He corrected everything and handed over to Prabhupada. And told Prabhupada, "Now it's over. Is there anything I can help you?" Prabhupada said, "Yes, you can help me." And he took him to a big trunk. And Prabhupada opened up that trunk and showed him that what he has to do. So there were so many manuscripts, pages after pages, closed into red cloth. And Prabhupada handed over to Haigriv Prabhu. He was astonished seeing that much work. He said to Prabhupada, "I think it is a lifetime of typing." Prabhupada said, "Not lifetime, it is lifetimes of typing. Not in one lifetime you can finish it. It will take lifetimes." And what struck Haigriv Prabhu the most is, Prabhupada had written, earlier he did not have a typewriter. He was writing on pages from left margin to the right margin, from top to bottom. No space was left. Why? Because Prabhupada did not have money to purchase papers. One time, the refill was over. And Prabhupada had to beg to get that refill to write the books. So this was the condition Prabhupada had to go through to establish this society. And we have got it very easily. And there is a chance to forget what we have or to misuse what we have got. So therefore, on this particular day of incorporation of ISKCON society, we rethink our consciousness, we again commit to ourselves and to the society, to the purposes, and achieve these purposes for the pleasure of the Prabhupada and Lord Krishna. So this is what this day is for all of us. So we pray to Prabhupada and Shri Radha Gopinath that he empowers us to fulfill his vision and help ourselves and society at large. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nidai Gaur Premanande Granthara Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki Jai. If anyone has any question, any doubt, they can ask me after the class. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we stop here.